Welcome back to another episode of Tractor Roy. My name is Trent. Today we're going to be working on the Auction H. So, if you haven't seen the video where we picked up this tractor, that tractor, this one, the one on the other side of it, make sure you go back and check that out. It kind of just shows us loading these things up. I only paid $50 for this one, and I got the engine to start spinning free, so I think this is where we're going to start. Also, I noticed I have my John Deere mug, but I don't have any John Deeres over here. I need to come up with a Farmall mug. First thing that we'll check is the engine turns over. Fantastic. That just makes it so we're not chasing our tail or having to do a lot more work than we really planned to. This yellow one is stuck, so I'm going to have to the scoring doesn't look too bad in the cylinders. Looked at it with my bore scopes. I think I'm going to have to just tear it down, free up those rings, and stick it back together with a new gasket set because the pistons and cylinders themselves look okay. Okay, over here on this side, we got our wire coming from the dash up there into our coil. The coil's loose, but it's still there at least. The distributor cap is there. This thing had all the spark plugs in it and all the spark plug wires attached to it, but I've pulled them off so I could throw a little oil in there and lube up those cylinders before we start cranking on this thing. So here on the passenger side of the tractor, we have two oil level petcocks. This one's to let you know you have enough oil in it. If nothing comes out here and you still have some out here, then you're good. There's probably something in the manual that states a little bit better, but as long as you got oil in here, it's good. If you got oil in here, it might be a little high, but you're still good. Oh boy. Well, I don't really have channel locks to get that. So, we have plenty of oil. Judging by that stream, how fast it came out and how much pressure there is, we're at least up to this level. It looked black, but it'll be good enough to start. So there's a few things that make me think that this was a running tractor, and he either lost interest in it, or when he died, he obviously stopped using it. So, the wheel is missing off of this side. This tire is still in really good shape. They had a rim leaning up against this thing with all the rim bolts in it. Brand new sitting here. So my thought what happened is there was a hole in this tire. He parked it, took the tire off, got it replaced, and then just either lost interest in this thing, got another tractor or just had other projects or something. So I think he was still using this. Also, judging by the spark plugs the wires were still all attached, like over here on this MD, you could tell he was working on it. He has all the spark plug wires pulled, and he has two different sets. So it's almost like in the middle of working on it, he lost interest. Also, this had a battery in there. The battery was still attached. Big A Auto hasn't been a thing for a while. I don't know if that's 1991 January or what is that, September 1st of 2001? Whatever the case, this is a pretty old battery. Probably not going to work. What else was I noticing on this? The lights are all still pretty good. The back tires are in really good shape. He blocked up the drawbars on all of these, even this H. So that tire is very bad, but that one's still hold there. I mean, he blocked up the drawbars on every one of these, so none of the back tires were sitting on the ground. Let's check our coolant. I can't see in there because of the loader. You'll have to tell me. I think that's moisture under there, under that cap. Just kidding. I took a peek in there and it looks awesome. Still plenty of coolant in there. It gets very cold here, and I think this guy died 2 years ago in 2022, maybe 2021. I think it was 22. So if this thing just had water in the block or it had bad coolant, it would have frozen broke by now because it gets down negative 30, negative 40. Especially last winter? Not the one we just had, the one before that. It was like negative 40 for a week straight. So if something would have happened, the coolant would have all drained out. So I'm confident that is still good. Now our gas bowl or our sediment bowl, gasoline has seen better days. It looks like he shut off the fuel bowl. Ooh, so he probably ran the carburetor dry. So I wonder if we can get away with not tearing that apart. I was trying to take the fuel cap off yesterday. It is freaking tight. I'm going to have to go over and grab a channel box or a pipe wrench to open that thing up. So my microphone battery died, so while I'm sitting here talking about it, I'll show you what I did. I just went through and cleaned the points. It's just right here under the distributor cap. Just took a piece of really fine sandpaper, sanded those points to get a better connection, get rid of all that corrosion and oxidation that's on there, and then just kind of blow it out. You can use your shirt to wipe it, but with the floater being in the way, yeah, I couldn't get to it. But you want to get all that dust out because that dust isn't conductive either. So even though you sand it, you can still have issues if you don't get all that dust out of the way. So now that we're back, I've got my fuel sediment bowl. That's all cleaned out and fuel is flowing. It was very, very gross. This thing has been sitting for quite a while. Now, I kind of get the feeling that this bowl is going to be super stuck, and just judging by the general shape of this carburetor, it's not looking in very good shape. Well, I've got 2 or 3 of these that I have laying around now after that last auction. So I'm going to swap out this one. The needle and seat works. You can blow through it. Air gets through this way. When you tip it over, it shuts off. That means our needle and seat's working correctly. Our choke is freed up. Our throttle plate is freed up. On this, the choke feels like it's stuck, so I'm just going to have to take this and really soak it through a carburetor cleaner. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting these out. There's 2, I think they're just flathead screws, but there's 2 screws here, 2 that hold it to the manifold. We got our fuel line coming in, and we got our choke lever here. This is our throttle coming off the governor. When you move that throttle forward and backward up at the control station, it allows this governor to expand or contract more and more, and then that governor is what turns this shaft and actually opens that throttle. So anyways, I'm going to start chipping away at this thing. I kind of wonder what was going on with this thing, why this carburetor looks so gross. Something had to have been leaking out. Maybe it was just raining it. Well, it would have been rain. Wouldn't have made that much of a mess. Yeah, whatever. Holy cow, that was rough. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So the end of this rod here has a little stub that fits into that slot, and that's what turns our throttle valve here. Oh, this thing is so sticky. It almost seemed like we had gas getting into it though. Doesn't mean the float's not stuck and this thing's not gummed up. So I gotta rob this plug at the bottom. Otherwise everything is on this carburetor already. So I'm gonna swap this out and then I'll stick this replacement one back on. So as it turns out, our little needle here is actually too big to fit inside of this. So they must have just, I don't know, made different sizes apparently. Well, that thing just swell up. There's no way that they made 2 different sizes of such a small part. They would have just made everything similar, especially because they're both off of an H. This one was not a distillate tractor originally. Oh, it looks like somebody's beat this thing up. That's probably why. So, anyways, I have to figure out what size drill that takes and clean up that damaged thread. Or, I guess it's not a thread. Just clean up the damaged part. So, because of that, we are going to do a little, I call it a tailgate rebuild, but we're on the side of the swather because it's closer than the tailgate is. So I'm just going to split these 2 halves and then make sure that Everything in that bowl and that needle and seat is all freed up, gummy and sticky. I bet it probably is. These old track. Ooh, yep. We got gas. These old tractor carburetors are pretty easy to deal with, actually. I better scrape some off. Actually, just judging by how much gas just came out, I think our needle and seat's working okay. I wonder what is going on all over this thing. Why is it so dirty? I haven't seen one quite like this. And it's like crusty, crunchy dirt. Gross. Yeah, that's really gross. So I only got one can over here. I'm not going to be able to do a full restoration of this thing. I'll just have to stick with a refurb. Now, I've had pretty good luck with saving these gaskets. Not very often I've had one split where I can't reuse it. Oh boy. There's only 3 of them, right? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. There we go. This actually doesn't look too bad in there. That needle is stuck, but so let's see. When I got this thing, that sediment bowl was closed. Usually when a sediment bowl is closed like that, a lot of guys, and what's kind of good practice is you close that fuel sediment bowl and then run the carburetor till it's out of gas. Very well could have happened with this. I'm not really sure though. This thing is just so freaking nasty. I should, once I get this thing running, I'm going to take this carburetor back off and throw it in my, I got an ultrasonic cleaner. I could use that too. Holy cow. I'm not going to go too crazy with this. If I want to go any more, then I can just get a rebuild for it, which I probably ought to do anyway. Okay, our needle and seat's freed up. Our bowl looks pretty good. took our 3 screws back together. I didn't mess with the adjustments. These old carburetors have big enough ports that I'm probably still going to get fuel flowing through it. And, you know, gas is a decent enough solvent. Boom. One freshly rebuilt carburetor. Minus the paint. Still wearing its working clothes, right? Once I get this thing running and driving around, I'm going to just pressure wash the crap out of it. Or the crap off of it, I guess. Yeah, now you got to try and line up this nub in the rod. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to open up the fuel before I stick my, what you call it? Before I stick the air intake boot on, see if we're leaking. So, I lost my cotter pin, so I'll just have to remember that. It doesn't look like we're leaking. I think we're flowing fuel. Okay. Oh. Okay, now let's try it. For realsies. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got it. So I think maybe I'm not getting fuel because it kind of sounds like it ran for about long enough to drain the bowl out. So I'm probably not getting a good amount of fuel flow from that sediment bowl. I've got a couple extras laying around. I'll probably just throw that on there. I kind of wonder if that's my problem. Bet you if I let this sit for 5 or 10 minutes and then try and start it back up, do the same thing. Because it's let gas through, but just enough that it fills up the bowl. And then when the tractor starts running, and then it drains it all out, and the sediment bowl can't keep up with it. And then when it sits, then that bowl fills back up again. But we're running. Everything works from the looks of it, actually. It's not too bad. Loader works, picks it up and down. It moved backwards. That clutch was a little jumpy, so I'm guessing it's just got a little rust on that flywheel that it's grabbing onto. Once it gets driven a little bit, it'll wear in. Yeah, this is fantastic news. Glad we got this thing done. I'll go ahead and throw that other tire on here. Probably clean the carburetor up a little bit more than I did. Sediment bowl, a couple other things here and there. But we got to run a tractor again. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button down below. Throw a comment down if you want to see more of this or any of the other tractors, or if you got any ideas for me. You know, throw some constructive criticism. Yeah, I'll take it. If you're not subscribed, try and think about it. I got a lot of this stuff going on. I think you'd enjoy it if you enjoy this video. So until next time, thanks for watching Tractor Roy.